Good morning, students. I hope you must have understood the poem that we read in the last class. Now, today we are going to read the first short story from your book Snapshot. The name of the story is The Summer of a Beautiful White Horse, written by William Saroyan. William Saroyan was an Armenian American writer, and he has written a collection of stories. My Name is Aram. Now, this particular story is a part of My Name is Aram book, which is a collection of stories. So, in this particular story, Aram, a small boy who was 9 years old, had a passion, had a dream to ride a horse. This story, when you read, you will come to know that Aram himself has narrated the story, and he is nostalgic about his childhood experiences that he had. He remembers, he recollects all the that had happened when his dream came true. And who helped him? His cousin Murad, who was 13-year-old boy. He was courageous, he was bold and alive. Now, being alive means full of spirits, full of liveliness. His cousin was such a courageous boy, and one day he brought a white horse and invited Aram to come and ride the horse, as he knew that his cousin Aram was fond of riding horse and it was his dream. Now, children, you will also come to know about Garoglanian tribe from this story, who were the immigrants at California, and these people had migrated from Armenia. Armenia is a state between Asia and Europe. They were in fact exiled from there and they settled in California, Fresno, where the author William Saroyan was born. William Saroyan was very passionate about these immigrants and Armenian tribe. So these two boys also belong to the Armenian tribe, namely Garoglanian tribe. I'll repeat the word, Garoglanian. So when you read it carefully. They belonged to the Garoglanian tribe, and what was the Garoglanian tribe famous for? Garoglanian tribe was famous for its honesty and trust. And Aram remembers that they were famous for 11 centuries. Even though they were poor, they could not fill their bellies, they could not even have meals, two meals even per day. They upheld the values of their tribe. They never compromised on their values or the honesty or trust. So in this way, these two boys who belong to this Garoglanian tribe also uphold their values and tradition of their tribe. So in this story, one thing you come to know is that these two boys somehow wish to fulfill their desire of riding a horse, and secondly, you come to know about Garoglanian tribe. And let me come back to the story. Because it was summers, it was early in the morning. Very early in the morning, Murad had come to take Aram along with him for the horse ride. But Aram was astonished. He was surprised to see that. He was surprised to see a white horse, because they were so poor that they could not even think of buying a white horse. And there Murad was with a white horse, which was so magnificent and beautiful. Aram, first of all, could not believe his eyes, but when he went outside to see the horse, he asked a number of questions to Murad. Murad told him that there is no need to ask questions. If he wishes, he can come for a ride. And hence, Aram followed what Murad said. What happened when they went for a ride? How did they hide the horse during the daytime? Who was Uncle Khosrow? What was his quality? Who was John Byro? All these answers we will find when we read the story. So, and I'm sure most of the students must have read the story, as I had sent you the chapter, the story yesterday. Now, children, stories are supposed to be enjoyed. You should read it. If you have not read it, please read it. Now, we will move on to the details of the author. So, students, now we will see and know about the author. As you can see in the picture, that this is William Saroyan. William Saroyan was an American Armenian author. He was born on 31st August 1908 in California to Armenian immigrants from Turkey. His father died when Saroyan was just 3 years old. He and his siblings had to be put into an orphanage. Luckily, 5 years later, they were reunited with their mother. Even during hard times, Saroyan's spirits were high. His writings often celebrated the joy of living in spite of poverty, hunger, and insecurity. Though Saroyan had to leave school at 15, he educated himself by reading and writing. Later, he continued his education on his own, supporting himself by taking up odd jobs. So he took up a job of a clerk, and also sometimes he used to sell the newspaper also. Saroyan's mother showed him some of his father's writings, which influenced his early writing. So his father's writings were an inspiration for him, from where he had a knack for writing. Saroyan's works had a strong autobiographical touch, especially his later works. Now let us have an overview of the story. The Summer of a Beautiful White Horse is a story of two poor boys from an Armenian tribe whose hallmarks are trust and honesty. Hallmarks. They were famous for their trust and honesty for 11 centuries. As when you read the story, you will come to know that how Aram is so proud of it. He remembers that for 11 centuries they have been famous for this quality, this value. One morning, the narrator, young Aram, is woken at dawn by his cousin Murad, who arrives riding a beautiful white horse. Aram thinks that he was dreaming, but soon joins his cousin, for he loves horse riding as much as his cousin did. Being aware that Murad can't afford the beautiful horse, and also that no member of the Garoglanian family could steal, Aram is perplexed. Perplexed, confused. Aram was confused after seeing the white horse, and he thought that Murad or anybody from their Garoglanian family could not afford to buy a horse, as they were very, very poor. The elders were impoverished and they could not even think of how to manage their meals, but let alone buying a white horse. Murad convinces Aram that they would return the horse after they have enjoyed riding it, and that this was different from stealing money. But because Murad had brought the horse, and Aram thought that perhaps Murad had stolen the horse. And at the same time, Murad tells Aram that it was not stolen. So Aram was confused, and he justifies that it cannot be called stealing because they have just brought the horse to enjoy the riding. So it cannot be called stealing because they are not going to sell it off. See, this Aram, who is a small child, he believes that stealing can be when you pick up something, you lift a thing and you sell it off. And they were not going to sell the horse, they were just going to enjoy the ride. And therefore, he felt that it was not stealing at all. Aram loves horses and so is very tempted to ride it. So after the initial moral dilemma, see, this is the moral dilemma. Aram had a moral dilemma that if it is stolen, then what will the elders in the tribe will say, and they will be punished for that. So all these kind of moral dilemma was there, whether he should comply by what Murad was saying. The two cousins spend a great time riding the handsome white horse. The story goes on to describe in detail how the two boys indulge in the joy of horse riding early every morning for nearly a month. Now, as it was a dream come true for Aram, he did not even think of sleeping for late hours. He used to get up early so that they could enjoy horse riding early in the morning for nearly a month. Now, why early in the morning? Because the people may get up, and if they go later in the day, the people may get up and they may find the horse, whosoever the owner was. And so early morning, when there was no one, they used to enjoy the riding the horse. And then what did they do? During the daytime, after their ride, they used to hide the horse in the barn of a deserted vineyard. Children, vineyard is a garden where grape creepers are grown, grapevines are grown. So these grapevines were in abundance in California, and there they used to hide it. One day, a farmer, John Byro, visits Aram's house and tells Aram's uncle Khosrow how sad he is because his horse had been stolen last month. So now you can remember, for 1 month these two boys, Aram and Murad, were having the horse, enjoying the rides, and John Byro had lost his horse 1 month ago. Unmoved, Aram and Murad continue with their horse riding. At that time, Aram was at home and he ran to Murad's house and he told that John Byro had come to Uncle Khosrow complaining about his lost horse. So even after that, for 2 weeks they kept the horse, but one day Murad's and Aram's conscience struck them, and they felt that their tribe will be blamed and they should not bring a blot to their tribe's values. And therefore, then again, John Byro runs into the two boys riding his horse. So once they happened to meet, they came across John Byro when they were on their way. His reaction on seeing it, the conversation with the boys and the boys' action is the turning point that makes the story end on a beautiful note. Now this last point is very important. Aram tells that John Byro met these two boys when they were going to the barn where they used to hide the horse, and on the way John Byro was coming from the other side. He met them, and how did he react? Although John Byro recognized his horse, he examined the horse from very close quarters. He came very close to the horse and he said, "What a beautiful horse you boys are having, and I lost my white horse. This horse seems to be just same as my horse." And he did not accuse the boys for having stolen the horse. He just said, "My horse is also similar to, just same as this horse," and he did not blame the boys or he did not accuse them. That was his reaction. And he just said that he remembers his horse which was stolen a month ago. And then Murad and Aram leave the place. Now this reaction of John Byro was very conspicuous because John Byro knew the Garogalian tribe, or this family, Aram's family, from such close knit friendship circle that he did not believe that they must have stolen it. So he knew that Garogalian tribe stands for, or Aram's family stands for, honesty and trust, faith. So he did not openly tell them or accuse them of stealing his horse. He did not fight with the children. He did not ask them to lead the horse. And this made Aram and Murad feel that though it was John Byro's horse, he did not ask for it, and therefore they decided to leave the horse back in John Byro's house. Now look at Garogalian tribe. What is the feature of Garogalian tribe? An Armenian tribe which has a reputation for honesty that has been maintained for centuries. Despite being extremely poverty stricken, they never resort to unfair means to get money. And this is what, when you read the story, you will come to know that Aram says they lived in a comical poverty. Comical poverty because they were so poor they could not even buy food for themselves. But how did they fill their bellies? That was a suspense, that was a mystery. And therefore he calls it as a most amazing and comical poverty. Now we'll talk about the underlying themes. One of the themes is the idea of redemption through actions. There is little doubt that Aram and Murad did wrong by taking the horse. However, a compelling element is that John Byro does not seek vengeance or extreme retribution for their actions. So, John Byro did not accuse them for their action, and the first thing is that this Garogladian tribe followed Christianity, and according to Christian religion, redemption, saving oneself from doing evil. And therefore these two boys, they redeem themselves through their action, and the action is to return the horse to this his owner. And Aram and Murad did not do anything wrong by taking the horse, but at the same time, when they returned the horse, this action of theirs was enough to keep up the values of their tribe. So now we're going to read the chapter, The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse, William Saroyan. One day back there in the good old days when I was 9 and the world was full of every imaginable kind of magnificence and life was still a delightful and mysterious dream. I was 9. Here is the narrator, Aram. And he talks about the good old days when he was a child and his world was full of every imaginable kind of wonder, magnificence, and life was still a delightful and mysterious dream for him. And that day what happened? My cousin Murad, who was considered crazy by everybody who knew him except me, came to my house at 4 in the morning and woke me up tapping on the window of my room. Now everybody considered Murad to be crazy, eccentric. He had an unlimited passion for doing anything with all boldness. And that is why everybody felt that Murad was crazy. And when he came to his house at 4 in the morning, pay attention children, 4 in the morning, very early in the morning, Aram said, I jumped out of bed and looked out of the window. I could not believe what I saw. It wasn't morning yet, but it was summer, and with daybreak, not many minutes around the corner of the world, it was light enough for me to know I wasn't dreaming. So in these lines, the narrator, Aram, says that because it was summertime and the daybreak, the early morning, that is, the sun rose very early in summers, as you can see, even in your country you can see that. In summers, you have daybreak or the dawn very early. And not many minutes around the corner of the world, it was light enough. And he says, even though he had come at 4 o'clock, there was enough light for him to see that it was early morning and he wasn't dreaming. My cousin Murad was sitting on a beautiful white horse. I stuck my head out of the window and rubbed my eyes. Yes, he said in Armenian, it's a horse. You are not dreaming. Make it quick if you want to ride. Make it quick. That is, quickly come out. Don't hesitate and make efforts to have a ride. I knew my cousin Murad enjoyed being alive more than anybody else who had ever fallen into the world by mistake. But this was more than even I could believe. So Aram says that he knew that his cousin enjoyed being alive. Being alive means high-spirited, always active, having some passion to do something. And he says that he could not believe this was something unbelievable that he had done. In the first place, my earliest memories had been memories of horses, and my first longings had been longings to ride. Longings means desire. So the first longing, the desire, the earnest desire that Aram had, it was to ride a horse. This was the wonderful part. This was the wonderful part, that Murad helping him to achieve or accomplish his dream. In the second place, we were poor. This was the part that wouldn't permit me to believe what I saw. We were poor. We had no money. Our whole tribe was poverty stricken. Every branch of the Garoglanian family was living in the most amazing and comical poverty in the world. Nobody could understand where we ever got money enough to keep us with food in our bellies, not even the old men of the family. So Aram says that not even the old men of the family knew that how they managed their food. Bellies here means stomach. How they fulfilled their hunger, and how they used to get food for themselves to fulfill their bellies, their stomachs. And that is why he calls it as most amazing and comical poverty in the world. Nobody could understand from where they got money, but they had no money. Yet they used to arrange and somehow manage to make both the ends meet. Most important of all, though we were famous for our honesty, we had been famous for our honesty for something like 11 centuries, even when we had been the wealthiest family in what we like to think was the world. So Aram says, even when they were wealthy, even when they were rich, they were honest. And honesty was the most important quality of this tribe. So he says that we were famous for our honesty for something like 11 centuries. Now, students, see that in this paragraph, the narrator has talked about Garoglanian tribe, and he is so proud of it. So what was Garoglanian tribe famous for? He says that we were proud first. We were proud of ourselves, honest next, and then after that we believed in right and wrong. None of us would take advantage of anybody in the world, let alone steal. So why Aram wondered, and why Aram was astonished and surprised to see that white horse brought by Murad? Because that the Garoglanian tribe, nobody would take advantage of anybody in the world. That was the meanest thing that they could do. And stealing was a very big evil for them. And therefore, he says that it was unbelievable for him. Consequently, even though I could see the horse so magnificent, even though I could smell it so lovely, even though I could hear it breathing so exciting, I couldn't believe the horse had anything to do with my cousin Murad, or with me, or with any of the other members of our family, asleep or awake. Now, as Aram describes the horse, he says that he could smell it, he could listen to the breath of the horse, which means that he was not dreaming. He was not having a dream. It was reality. He was very close to the horse. But he says it had nothing to do, the horse had nothing to do with with his cousin Murad or any other family member. Aram knew that the horse had nothing to do with any of the members of his family or Murad or he himself, because they could not think of buying it. Then the matter was that it was stolen. But at the same time, Aram refused to believe that it was stolen. No member of the Garoglanian family could be a thief. This was the feeling of pride in them. that nobody could steal. I stared first at my cousin and then at the horse. There was a pious stillness and humor in each of them, which, on the other hand, delighted me and on the other frightened me. So Aram was both delighted and happy to see the horse, but well, it seemed to me stealing a horse for a ride was not the same thing as stealing something else, such as money. For all I knew, maybe it wasn't stealing at all. So Aram feels that stealing the horse just for enjoying the ride was not stealing, because stealing was like stealing some money or something. That was called stealing. According to this little boy, he understood that if you steal somebody's money, that is called as stealing. But stealing a horse for riding and enjoying, it was not stealing at all. So Aram felt that they had not stolen anything because they were not going to sell the horse. I knew we would never do. Let me put on some clothes, I said. All right, he said, but hurry. I leaped into my clothes. I jumped down to the yard from the window and leaped up onto the horse behind my cousin Murad. So in this way, Aram also felt his conscience to be clear that they had not stolen it, as they were not going to sell it. They are just going to enjoy that. That year, we lived at the edge of the town on Walnut Avenue. This is the name of the avenue, the broad road in the city. Behind our house was the country village area, vineyards, orchards, irrigation ditches and country roads. In less than 3 minutes, we were on Olive Avenue, and then the horse began to trot. Trot is the way the horse walks or runs. So it is the movement of horse, trots. And in less than 3 minutes, they say, from Walnut Avenue, they reached the Olive Avenue. Avenue is, as I told you, just a broad highway or the road. And now what was behind their house? Vineyards. Vineyards are the gardens where the farmers grow grapevines. And orchards are fruit gardens again. Irrigation ditches. Ditches are actually deep pits. And irrigation, they are used for irrigation. Deep pits were made in those days. There were no tube wells or water bodies were far off. So the farmers used to use the ditches, and they used to fill the ditches with the water and then irrigate their farms. And country roads, the muddy roads which led to the village areas. In less than 3 minutes, we were on Olive Avenue and the horse began to trot. The air was new and lovely to breathe. The feel of the horse running was wonderful. My cousin Murad, who was considered one of the craziest members of our family, began to sing. I mean, he began to roar. So finally, Murad and Aram, they both were enjoying the ride together, and they even Murad started singing because the weather early morning was very fresh and they felt it was wonderful. Aram says that Murad did not know to sing and he was the craziest member of their family. He also says that his singing was as though he was roaring. Every family has a crazy streak in it somewhere, and my cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of the crazy streak in our tribe. So Aram says that every family has a crazy streak. There is one member or so in the family who is crazy, eccentric. In Hindi, what do you call it as? Sanki. So one of them was crazy in their family. That was Uncle Khusro, and after Uncle Khusro was Murad. And he says now in the next lines, he has described Uncle Khusro. He was an enormous man with powerful head of black hair and the largest mustache in the San Joaquin Valley. Now this was the place, this is the name of the place, San Joaquin Valley in California, where they had settled. So he was known for his enormous body, enormous personality, huge personality, and largest mustache in the valley, in the place there. A man so furious. So earlier he has described, Adam has described about his physical description, and now he has given the description of his temperament or his attitude. What was his attitude? He was very angry in temper, so irritable. He used to get irritated, so impatient that he stopped anyone from talking by roaring, shouting. He used to stop anyone speaking to him. If anybody spoke to him, he never used to listen to him, and he used to start shouting. It is no harm, pay no attention to it. And this was the sentence by which he used to shut everyone else who used to come to talk to him, because he never used to listen to anybody. He was irritable. Now perhaps that nature was due to the loss that they had suffered while migrating to California. Now Uncle Khosrow was so irritable and so furious because they had to migrate from their homeland, and you can understand when a person is immigrant in some other country, leaving their own homeland, how miserable they are. Now Adam says that not only other people, but even his own son used to call him crazy, eccentric. And he says once it was his own son Eric running 8 blocks to the barber shop where his father was having a mustache trimmed to tell him their house was on fire. This man Khosrow sat up in chair and roared, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it." So once it so happened that their house was on fire, and Uncle Khosrow's son, he told him that his house was on fire, but Uncle Khosrow, in his own attitude, he said, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it." The barber said, "But the boy says your house is on fire." And against Khosrow, he shouted at the barber also, and he shouted at the barber also and told him that it is no harm, not to worry about it. My cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of this man. Although Murad's father was Zurab, who was practical and nothing else. So Adam is describing that Murad had got all the qualities of his uncle. He had become a natural descendant of Uncle Khosrow, and he had inherited the quality of being crazy rather than getting the qualities of his father, who was Zorab, who was a practical man. And Zorab was a very practical and wise person, whereas Uncle Khosrow was a crazy person. That's how it was in our tribe. A man could be the father of his son's flesh, but that did not mean that he was also the father of his spirit. So Adam has said that in their tribe, the whole family was so closely interknit that even if the father who has given birth to his son may not have inherited his qualities of his father. Therefore he says father of his son's flesh. Son's flesh means the one who has given birth to his son, his biological father, is not necessarily be the father of his spirit. Spirit means his soul, his qualities. And therefore Zorab, who was Murad's father, he was very practical, but Murad had inherited the qualities of his uncle. The distribution of the various kinds of spirit of our tribe had been from the beginning capricious and vagrant. Adam says that there are various kinds of spirit of our tribe. That is, there are many types of people in their tribe. Some are capricious and vagrant. Vagrant means wanderer, vagabond. Capricious means having an unpredictable behavior. We rode and my cousin Murad sang, for all anybody knew we were still in the old country where, at least according to so Aram and Murad, while riding the horse, Murad sang all the way, and Aram was feeling that according to some of our neighbors we belonged, we let the horse run as long as it felt like running. So they did not stop, and it was so enjoyable that they continued with the riding. At last my cousin Murad said, "Get down, I want to ride alone." "Will you let me ride alone?" I asked. "That is up to the horse," my cousin said. "Get down." "The horse will let me ride," I said. "We shall see," he said. "Don't forget that I have a way with the horse." Now students, please pay attention to the sentence, I have a way with the horse. I have a way with the horse means that I know how to control and how to deal with the horse. So this is what Murad was proud of his skill, and he says, I know how to deal with the horse. You will later come to know in the chapter that how he used to love animals and birds, and he was very compassionate to them. He loved animals, and therefore he says, I know how to deal with the horse. Well, I said, anyway, you have with the horse, I have also. For the sake of your safety, he said, let us hope so. Get down. All right, I said, but remember, you have got to let me try to ride alone. Let me try to ride alone. So Aram did what Murad wanted. Murad wanted to ride alone, so he asked Aram to get down. But Aram was also interested in riding the horse all alone. But Murad was not confident whether Aram will be able to control the horse all alone. I got down, and my cousin Murad kicked his heels into the horse and shouted, "Vezair, run!" The horse stood on its hind legs, snorted, and burst into a fury of speed that was the loveliest. So you can see, Vezair is the nickname of the horse. This was given by Murad, and in this way Murad went to ride the horse all alone. So students, now we will read the story further tomorrow. Please read the story, and so that you will be able to understand what happens next. So find out what happened when Aram rode the horse alone. Did Murad give him a chance? So we will continue tomorrow. Thank you.